cosplayers and fellow collectors, this is LouisCosplay doing my review of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Now, if you was on my Instagram, the videos after this video, that is 2 costumes that I talked about in my update video about that I'm doing, so that is coming after this, so that you know. But let's get back to the topic. Guardians of the Galaxy, I want to say something first. The strange thing with Guardians of the Galaxy, I can handle Star-Lord in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies for 2 hours, 3 hours, great. But when you have like the animated version, that the anime Guardians of the Galaxy that you could watch, the problem I have with that show is that they make like Star-Lord so like too funny. He is not serious at all, and he barely uses his helmet at all in the basic episodes. So I feel like here they balanced it out more in the movies. So that is... But okay, let's start as I always do. Alright. Effects. Here again, it's incredible when it comes to effects, because the spaceship, when they're out of space, the ships, the designs of the ships, everything here is really great, and it really fits in. The planets itself, the design of the planets that they visit are so great. I love the design when you see the computer animations, and you know it's like green screen behind, but they make it look so good. And like the ships, as I said, were really great. But all the times when they use like green screen effects to make the background, to make this, I love it. It's actually rather great, you know, they actually put a lot of effort into it. Again, really great. It's really great. And especially effects, I mean like Baby Groot. I'm gonna get more into him when I go to character-wise, but Baby Groot actually has a lot of effects, and I love the effects of his as a Baby Groot. I love it. It's really great. It really works, and yeah, I love it. Everything of effects are really great. It's spot on. I feel like it's really spot on. Maybe some places for some of you that is more pro to see flaws in green screen or computer animation effects that are used to animate planets or backgrounds would maybe take it like it's some mistakes, but you can forgive it because of that. So I would say, yeah, for some reason, yeah, that it can happen. But effects, really great. That I'm going to give it. Let's move on to characters. So, the characters in this storyline, from the first one, you get a little more glimpse into their past, like what was a little glimpse to everyone's character in the first one. But there were a lot more emotions in this one, differential from the first Guardians of the Galaxy. And every character had a moment where they was sitting down, looking at the sky, looking at a sun or something, that basically gave them a more character-wise. So this movie, every character has more character background, but every character has it, like, every character, and that's good. But it's in the long run, it's really great. I liked it. I like to have a character basic and know how the character is an interesting storyline. I do like that. But I didn't think it was boring in this movie. Some people would say it is boring, but I liked that every character, I think, in the second, because it's so many names here. I just have it on the screen here, so Like Gamora, Drax has it. Uh, Rocket, Rocket. Star Lord has a good, decent emotional storyline here. I could say. Baby Groot. He doesn't have an emotional storyline, but he's a curious little Groot, and in that case, I really like it. He does really great too. Mantis, she has a little storyline, but I think she's great in the movie itself. Um, the Imola between them, you get an idea of their storyline basically here. Why she hates her sister and what the problem has been between them. You get a good idea of that in this one, so I really like that. Uh, uh, Ego the Living Planet. Well, Ego the Living Planet. That is uh, the the story here with him is that, yeah, you get a good storyline. I'm not gonna say too much because that's like spoiling it for you guys, and I didn't show that in the trailer. It's like saying that a part of that has to do with uh, it has to do with basically Star Lord basically meeting his father, but I'm not gonna tell how that Ego, the Living Planet, is gonna be a part of that. But it's a big part of this storyline. It's a really big part of the storyline, so it's really a big part of that. So that said, one character I really liked the storyline and how it ended and all that. It really had a good ending with. I think was with Yandu. Yandu here had our Yandu Yandu had a really good storyline. I felt like he started like he steals stuff and things like that, but in the end, you actually do see a better side of him. I would say he progresses in a really good way. I feel like that when I see the movie, and I felt like he really showed a different side of himself here a lot better. So yeah, that is basically story wise with the characters, and that is what I want to say about that. Okay, so let's move on. All right, the last thing I want to talk about here is the battles. I talked about the special effects, but here's the thing. I would say half the movie is more emotional and half the movie is action. Now, I have no problem with that in this movie. The effects I've talked about, but the battles I love. Star Lord has some great, and you see him in the end fighting, and you see some things I really like with Star Lord here. Yeah, the movie has the humor. They're funny. It's not just emotional like crying. They have humor. It's humor in this movie. So if other people say it's like okay, it's not. I would say the first movie had more the action and just the humor, but when you have emotional, it gets a little different. So that is something that is in this movie. But I like it. They balance it out, but maybe a little too much emotion. A little too much. It could get a little boring. But that's it. The effects I talked about, and the battles are awesome. The battle in the end is awesome. The end scenes, how it ended, how the ended the movie, how it ended, and especially when you get a cut scene, like a end credit scene here of a little peep to Guardians of the Galaxy 3, I would say. Now that is exciting too, and the battles I like really much, and with the humor itself, it's really great. So I think you should watch this, and I will not do a spoiler section, but I will say this: you should watch this. It should be a really great movie for you to watch. That's all I'm gonna say on the movie, and that said, I got other videos coming, and always remember, cosplayer for life.